Okay, I'm trying to get used to this position with the camera. Okay, and at this angle in my office, what happens is the wires in your brain, they're connected. And what happens is when the traumatic experience happens, depending on how traumatic it is, it shatters. So this personality actually shatters. So it shatters into maybe baby, depending on how old the child was when the traumatic experience happened. So it might be a 2-year-old that you will feel like you're talking to, or 5-year-old, then a teenager. Then you would have the protective adult, and you would have the insecure adult, and then the well-adjusted adult. And so the thing is that your personality actually breaks, and this is where it becomes a disorder. So these are the different reasons why I want to have this channel. And so I am going to talk specifically about what healthy personality looks like versus what a broken personality looks like. And then broken personality can look like borderline personality disorder, narcissistic, this, avoidant, dependent, and things like that. So the thing is that on the flip side of that is that medication will actually bring them together slightly like this, and of course the chemical balance will create like a mediator for chemical balance. But the problem is that it's not quite perfected just yet. So there's medication that kind of helps to balance emotions and to wire your brain back together, so to speak. But because there's constant trials and there's constantly new development for medication, which is also why there's talk therapy, like what triggers the fear, what triggers the rage, what triggers the disassociation, what triggers psychosis, things like that. Talk therapy is necessary too, but also there's different kinds of medication depending on the person. So those are topics that I'm wanting to talk about, because those are topics that are interesting for me now. And they're interesting simply also because I don't have that chemical imbalance, but I do know people who I can see when they do that switch. Then there's also a difference between bipolar and borderline personality disorder, and I've struggled with this, with having friends and even family members who have influenced my life that have kind of triggered my own anxiety. They don't mean to, but having the highs and lows have, and depending on the situation, have made me anxious and have made me fearful in certain situations because of their behavior, because of things that they do, and I couldn't always tell what is the difference between the two. And as much as theoretically bipolar is a mood disorder, whereas borderline is a split personality thing, it's not quite like having different personalities with different names and different characteristics. It's just that the baby has split from the core person's teenager and protective adult and well-adjusted adult and neurotic adult and things like that. And this is the type of things that I'm wanting to talk about. Now, on the other side of that is you can find this stuff online. If you were to research on Google, Chrome, or anything like that, you're going to find the DSM, you're going to find different reference books that psychiatrists use to diagnose these things. So I'm not going to be giving you new knowledge that you can't find online. But what I am going to be doing is talking about topics that I find interesting and why I talk about them, and how they influence my life, and how I've maybe put up boundaries, or I've found friendships with people that are like this, and I learned so much about life through them. So positives and negatives of being friends with people with mental illness, myself having mental illness. Mild depression, mild anxiety is a mental illness. Okay, and so this is why I do strongly believe in exercise as a form of therapy, reading as a form of therapy, religion, knowing that something is bigger than me and higher than me and in more control of life than I am. And why self-image, self-esteem, how you view yourself, you choosing certain ways that you're going to change and certain things that you're going to accept about yourself. Because if you're going to listen to other people's opinions, it's like sitting on a fence. You'll end up changing yourself and you don't really know why. And so basically my channel is to give hope and to help you to choose who you want to be, and accept the fact that you will have weaknesses and that you will have strengths, and don't let any person make you feel small for having mental illness, because technically it's not your fault. Okay, I see it as it's a stressful situation that happened to you, and now you need to figure out how to deal with life going forward, with how you react to, and what that stressful situation did to you, and how you react to life going forward. The other thing that I want to talk about is boundaries, and how important it is to put up limits. So environments that you don't go to because you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You don't have to hang out with anybody you don't want to hang out with. Okay, so there is a large degree where boundaries with your employer who is abusive. Okay, boundaries with a romantic partner who is abusive. Boundaries with friends or parents or siblings who are abusive. So certain situations, like if you can't change a job but your boss is being abusive, what do you do? Those are things that I want to talk about, okay? Because they might be triggering, like they might, if you struggle with low self-esteem and you have a boss who's verbally abusive, that's not helpful. So what are the boundaries that you can put up, that you can put in place? Because they are walls, but I don't necessarily always see those walls as a negative thing. So some people see it as a negative thing. I don't see it as a negative thing. It just depends on, are you shutting people out, or you're protecting your own mental health? Does it bring you peace, or are you avoiding dealing with certain issues? And those are things that I'm wanting to talk about because of my personal experiences, and because people tend to feel like they can't talk about it, which is BS in my opinion. So the other thing is, you teach people how to treat you. So the amount of things that you take that you don't agree with, versus not speaking up and just letting whatever happen and letting it go, even if you feel broken over it, versus speaking about it and the person saying, okay, I can just choose not to treat you like this. I can choose not to do certain things around you. So when I was younger, I would say, okay, I'm not going to hang out with these people because of this, this, and this. Now I've learned that I can say, okay, I'll enjoy you as a person, but not in this environment. So can we maybe go for breakfast? Can we maybe watch a movie? Can we have a bribe? And then later on you go out with your friends. But in this environment, I don't get along with you anymore. But I like you as a person as a whole, as who you are. So you can create those boundaries. You teach people how to treat you. But also sometimes just recognizing you're uncomfortable with something and you can't put your finger on why. It's okay to take the space to be patient and to read and to ask questions and to see, okay, maybe you're misunderstanding something. Thing is that a lot of the time when I meet people, when I engage with people, I'm an empath, so I do feel something in their spirit. I can sense stuff in a person's spirit. So it might be associated, for example, with somebody doing cocaine. Now you can see that they're high, but that might not be what I'm picking up on their spirits. It might be the reason why they're on cocaine that I'm bothered by. Okay, I can say to them, please don't do this line of cocaine in front of me, or you're coming to my house, you're not bringing that stuff into my house. So then we can meet somewhere else, but you're not doing that to my house. But if you feel like there's something dark about this person, and it's in your spirit, and you don't feel comfortable around them, and you feel like when you talk to them, they're either dismissive, or you feel like you're being manipulated and lied to even more, then you're allowed to create a space for yourself where you say, I'm not going to spend time with this person. This is where I say putting up boundaries and teaching people how to treat you comes in. And this is things that I want to talk about. So I will be talking about major depressive because that is one of the topics that I'm reading about. I'm reading about all the anxiety, mental illnesses, and I'm talking about all the personality, like broken personality.